Greetings, my brothers and sisters. This is Second and Raw the Fourth, coming to you from the Spirit Talk FM studios. Just basically coming to edify a bit of already known information, but sometimes it's good to just, hear it again to what we call edify, to strengthen the knowledge that you have of the subject. Now, the topic that I wrote about, I'd say 8 years ago, is called Black. Black, the first state, source, and God. It says, the race of so-called mankind that is in control of the mediums of education, entertainment, and influences psychologically have an anti-man, anti-God, anti-woman, anti-nature, anti-difference, anti-other personality. This mentality cannot be changed by moralistic reasoning. The mental seed of this race is individual, defensive, survivalistic, and against all others, selfish and aggressive, attacking, etc. They come from what Sheikh Anta Diop calls the nomadic, aggressive, northern cradle of civilization. That is the northern cradle of civilization, not the modern, the northern. This is the European Aryan seat. The southern or the fertile cradle, well, in that cradle, the northern cradle, we find lack, less of everything. And so that aggressive, I gotta keep what is mine, mentality became the norm. Okay? Now, it says the southern cradle, fertile, of civilization is Africa, Nubian, Commission, Aksum, peaceful. The different environments of both of these cradles is the reason for the mental, social, and physical differences in the two primary races, the Caucasians and the Africans. I'll do my best to speak from the Afrocentric platform as to the real history of man and his development of civilization thousands of years before the European mankind decided to attack our cultures and society. Chapter 1, Black Oil. In ancient Africa, we as a race reached the heights of mental, spiritual, and physical development of man. We were in tune with the universe, and the reason for this affinity with the cosmos is a black oil called melanin. What is melanin and what is its purpose? Well, melanin actually comes from the Greek term melas, which means black. Melanin is called the substantia nigra, or black substance of the middle brain. So melanin is called the substantia nigra, or black substance of the middle brain. In ancient Nubia and Kemet, Egypt, as they call it, it was called the eye of Heru, which is called also the third eye in the middle of the forehead. It is this black oil that the ancients said gave us insight, intuition, inner vision, dreams, trance, wakefulness, and meditation, etc. It is this chemical that allows us to enter the next dimension. It is a biocosmic chemical substance that allows us to travel astrally or through time. It allows us to tap the ancient memory banks and libraries of our ancestors, known as the Akashic records, etc. The pineal gland is cone-shaped, and it is said to be present in all vertebrates having a cranium. The European, lacking melanin, have an inactive pineal gland, and so he teaches that it is vestigial and inactive, but it's not so in African. In the African, with the huge amounts of melanin, it is very active and functional. The sun works with melanin, so the races that have less sun exposure as their norm lack melanin, and so it is natural that their spirituality would also be dormant. The pineal gland is responsible for melatonin. Melatonin activates the pituitary gland to release something called melanocytes, stimulating hormones known as MSH. What are melanocytes? Melanocytes is the source of melanin. It is in melanocytes that the biocosmic chemical oil melanin is produced. It is by melanin that the sun's energy is positively used by the body. Just as chlorophyll allows the plants to use the sun's energy, melanin is man's chlorophyll. Do you understand? Yet with the plants, the growth is towards physical sunlight, and man's growth is directed towards higher states of consciousness. So melanin is needed for higher states of consciousness, the root of the difference of the two cradles. Melanin turns humanity into the cosmical matrix. Those devoid of melanin is the opposite of all of that. Wow. Years ago. Melanin is responsible for what is called pigmentation of skin color. The more melanin, the deeper, the blacker the skin tone. Another doctor, though, Dr. Sebi, has been teaching us that it's all about carbon. Okay, carbon, which is the source of all things. That's the beginning of molecules. Okay, so we're gonna have to look into carbon and melanin. Okay, but let's go on melanin. The more melanin, the deeper, the blacker the skin tone. The skin is the biofeedback sensor to the brain, sending its signals of our environment every nanosecond of each day. This skin of ours has several layers. The first is the ectoderm, the outer layer of the skin. This is where melanin is produced in the pre-fetus. This is why using perms or mercury products during pregnancy will burn or damage the ectoderm of the fetus, okay, giving them all forms of skin diseases, eczema, and the rest. Within the core of the brain, we can find 12 nuclei centers, and these centers are distinguished by being black with melanin. 12 nuclei centers, 12 disciples, right? The sun, the brain, mind. So these 12 nuclei are like the 12 disciples around the mind. The outer layer of the ballastina, or the pre-fetus, invegetates to form the spinal column. The end balloons out from the brain. The highest center is the 12th, called the locus coeruleus. The locus coeruleus, these are what doors to the highest states of consciousness. This melatonin is released from the pineal gland during darkness periodically between 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. and creates sleep. The increase of the amount of melanin production is it says that increase the amount of melanin production is the pineal melatonin that induces puberty and regulates and is related also to fertility. It is a scientific fact that the primary atom in all biological systems is carbon, which is black. All organic matter comes from a carbon atom. The creator of all is black. Melanocytes contains tyrosine, an amino acid and also an enzyme called tyrosinase. When tyrosinase and oxygen causes tyrosine to convert to DOPA or DOPA, which is known as a precursor amino, which changes into melanin. So tyrosine plus oxygen creates tyrosinase plus oxygen creates tyrosine. Tyrosine plus DOPA equals melanin. When there is a lack of tyrosinase, there is albinism. Melanin can be found in many places: the retina of the eye, the sun flares of the sun's surface, when a cut is healing, the scab, when a tree is healing. As a matter of fact, it is the healing agent of all organic matter, melanin. This is why the skin cancer disease called melanoma is contracted in the European population more than any other race. They have the lowest melanin count. Wow. DOPA is also responsible for creative thinking. It changes in states of consciousness based on the regulated production or distribution of melanin. All along, Rasta, 5% Nation, Black Muslims, and many more said that God or the Creator was black. How true. Carbon, the key of life, is black. And so the black race, people as we are now known as, are the divine and the godly children of the universe. The Kemetic or Egyptians knew of their divine origins and was proud to call themselves many names meaning black. Even the name Kemet means black earth, and Kemites, people of the black earth. The word chemistry means just that, the mystery of Chem, or Mizraim, chemistry, or the Arabic alchemy, the black people. So they were both telling from whom these sciences descend: the Kemites, the Egyptians, ancient Africans, the black seed of all life. Nature shows us that the seed must enter the blackness of earth to give birth or rebirth or regenerate. All life is rooted in this pre-existent state called blackness. This is the original point, the cause, the source. Before light, there was soot, darkness. Blackness, not darkness. Colors all but shades of black. Colors are all but shades of black, as well as all vibratory energy shades of black. The color of the womb of the universe, black holes, birthing stars, planets, the center of this galaxy is a black hole, and this has been found to be the case with many other galaxies. When carbon atoms link, they form black melanin. This is the first chemical that could capture light and reproduce itself. The brain is centered around black neuromelanin. To quote Richard King, the black dot: inner vision, intuition, creative genius, spiritual illumination were all found to be dependent upon pineal blood gland, born by chemical messengers that control skin color and open the hidden door to the collective unconscious mind, allowing the ancient priests and scientists to visualize knowledge from the timeless collective unconscious memory banks of the mind. Indeed, the black dot was found to be the doorway to universal knowledge of the past, present, and the future, as all life began in the equatorial zones of Africa, El-Kebulan. By gradual stages of becoming more sapient, forgive me. Well, the heaviness was replaced, skin that increased in darkness. I roll with it. Because the melanocytes produce extra melanin are used to blot ultraviolet rays of the sun. Due to these African migrating across the globe about 30,000 to 50,000 years ago, one of the many migrations into Europe. At this point, we hear of the continental drift as well as the meteor shower that destroyed 90% of life on Earth. Anyway, these Africans were trapped in Europe. Now in the northern areas, colder climates, the sun rays are directed at an angle, not directly, so it's never intense. The black skin was not needed in this region. See, melanin in the skin in low sunlight regions prevent the conversion of D1 and D2 to D3 and D4, which is the active form. So we have the trapped Africans in this cold, and their bones are not getting the calcium it needs because the sun rays are needed for the photosynthesis of vitamin D, which allows the calcium in food to be used by the body. So if the bone lacks calcium, they become soft, and this eventually leads to rickets and curvature of the bones and spine. They also had the issue of clothing, because they had to wear thick animal fur to handle the cold weather. This made it worse. Now the sun never gets to the skin at all. Now after about 20,000 years or so, this caused the African skin to change and lighten as they became Caucasians to physically adapt to their harsh, horrible environment. With less melanin, greater amount of energy or sun from the scarce sunlight could be absorbed. Later they got vitamin D from eating fish and the fish oil and fish eggs. So melanin is a very interesting chemical in the human body, and you have allomelanin, you have eumelanin, you have pseudomelanin or pheomelanin. But melanin is responsible for that. It's like your fire wire, that allows you to jack in, to the internet, where you take the fire wire and you stick it in, and that wire brings you up on the internet. Well, melanin is the human's fire wire to the cosmos, to the past, the present. If you know how to use melanin, you will be able to travel mentally, spiritually. You do so anyway every night while you sleep. And so melanin is released. It saturates the pineal gland or the frontal lobe. So it's released from the pineal gland, and it saturates the frontal lobe, right, and allows you to have visions and dreams. That's what melanin does. So you must learn what melanin is and why, as African people, we were so spiritual, drums, and and why the European is more on the skyscrapers disconnection. We say live with the forest. He says burn down and chop down the forest to build a house. So we got to understand that melanin is our spiritual meter. Okay, it's a spiritual oil, and if you don't have any, then you lack in spiritual concepts, and you are more sadistic, negative, aggressive, less peaceful people. And this is what we encountered with the barbaric type of invasions from these people who lack melanin of many different civilizations who invaded Africa. And so melanin kept us in love with nature. We would forgive. We would invite strangers to eat with us, give them stuff when they leave. Our greeting was Hotep, Hetep, meaning peace, Imhotep, one who comes in peace, see? So we were peaceful people, and, melanin is responsible largely for that because of its connection as the fire wire to the universe. As His Majesty said, spirituality is a network connecting us to the universe and the Creator itself. So we're looking at being black and why people are bleaching. See, if they understood what melanin was, if melanin was being taught about in these schools, then the children would not hate their skin color, but treasure it, recognize the treasure called melanin within black skin, and begin to be proud, understanding why it allows them to connect spiritually and communicate. But these things are removed. The only time that you believe in spiritual powers is on the TV, yeah? Or when some fake pastor, well, he's still on the TV, yeah? And he makes a person who couldn't walk. Am I saying that cannot happen? I'm saying that's not how I believe in healing. I believe healing is that both parties working at that healing. I don't believe it's I have the power and you come in here and I go whammy you and you just start walking. You know, there's got to be what is the problem? What causes? Why are you not walking? It's got to be information, and it's got to be a doctor-patient type of approach. It ain't just throw some water on you and you jump around. So it's a growth process for man. Each day, the universe, the cosmos continue to grow. The cosmos is not finished. The universe is never finished. It's a multiverse. So there's always new planets coming, new stars being born. How can we ever think it's forever? This is forever, and forever is a long time. As the real people, they call them Aboriginal in Australia, but they want to be called the real people. So we respect them. We'll say the real people says that forever is a very, 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 very long time. So while we're here, and we say we're Rasta, we say we're Muslim, we say we're this, we say we're in love with this person, we getting all emotional over children that don't pay any attention to us, that we brought up and thought they would turn back and lend a hand. We get all connected and emotionally attached to things because we think this is it. This is all there's going to be in this little body, this little life. We are consciousness. We are what people call God. We are what people are searching for because someone told them to look. And in order to see, you have to sometimes close your eyes. See? Now, looking is always external. That's why they say existence. See, there's a difference between existence and essence. Essence means the essence is. Right? The essence is within. You don't never see the essence on the outer. The existence now is that idea of seeing. Of as long as you could see it, you exist. It exists because it's external. You know, that's why we teach the exoteric and the esoteric information. And the exoteric information is what you call religion, and the esoteric information is what you call spirituality. And so it's all about the S, the essence of everything. And that's where we're heading. That's why we speak of carbon. Because we have to do Sankofa, which is to go back, to look back at what was in the past so we could head forward. Or to look back at what was in the past, reclaim what is ours, not just to look back and go forward, but to reclaim what was taken, what was robbed, what is ours. The knowledge, the consciousness, the land, whatever. We're going to leave it here because we do want to keep it at 30 minutes, the reasoning. And so we're going to say being black is being black in the past represented divinity. It represented that the sun had kissed you and that you were a child of the sun. And at that point in history, the sun was the most powerful energy force and source. And so if you were a child of the sun, you were considered divine and holy. And Africans, the Nubians, the Cushites, these people, they call them the blameless Ethiopians. They were considered peaceful, civilized, intelligent people who created pyramids and these things. You need to look up the city of Meroe, M-E-R-O-E, Look up Meroe. We began the building of the pyramids, and those who were down in what was called Egypt captured a lot of our artisans and builders so that they could begin fashioning, you know, Egyptian, what you see them with. Okay, so we want everyone to learn that. Meroe. Okay, look it up. Okay, my brothers and sisters, we are going to leave this at a half an hour. Sankofa means to return and fetch that which was lost. Whether it was your name, your language, your God. Even today, the children we see, we're losing in the streets. Sankofa, my brothers and sisters, there's no shame in returning and fetching that which we have lost. Ashe, Ankuja, Seneb.